This video is about how dangerous the Sandestin property has become. I'm going to do my best to explain everything. First of all, we don't share the road. This is a sign from another state. We don't share the road with pedestrians. We need yield to pedestrian signs, not just the symbol. We need to actually say that it's state law in Florida to yield to pedestrians and crosswalks. I also think we could say yield to pedestrians and those approaching the crosswalk. We have become a golf cart automobile culture on this property, and it's become very dangerous for any and all pedestrians. I think no sign is better than a bad sign. People don't stop at stop signs. Here's a sign, or here's a post that should have a sign saying no golf carts on this path. And we have a sign. It's going to come up here in a second. But there's a lot of places on the property where we just have the post. I think we need to add the sign everywhere. This path is driven on by golfers next to this fairway constantly. And I say something to them, they either dog cuss me, just get after me. It's just become really a dangerous spot. I don't see why we can't put a small fence keeping the golf carts off of this path. There's no reason for it. What you're going to see here is a couple more examples of paths that are not for golf carts, but we need posts and the signs. And we have the posts and we have the signs. We just need to put them out in more spots than we have. This yield sign is too far from the crosswalk. We need a yield ahead sign like this one from another state. And then once we get to the crosswalk, we need yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk or approaching it. This is a race car type of situation where if you have a golf cart, especially if you're a young person, you see how fast you can go in and out of this golf cart path. I think there should be a speed bump on both points of entry. The only yield sign on the property is in a staff parking lot. I think those signs should be all over. This is a very confusing and, in my opinion, dangerous intersection. This is a bike ride that a lot of families make, and you're going to see here, I'm on my bike here. I don't ride bikes a lot, but I did it for this reason. This is hard to negotiate, especially for an old person, a young person, someone that isn't on a bike a lot. And we get a lot of people visiting here that don't usually ride bikes, but when they get here, it's a fun thing to do. But this whole situation is very dangerous, especially this left turn downhill for a young child. And this has been a sore spot of this property for years. They've had people trip on what used to be a speed platform. They've had cars trying to avoid, like you see here, avoid the speed bumps so they can go faster. So, you know, we can make it safer for people that want to obey the laws. I mean, for those people that don't want to be part of the solution, we're never going to stop them. But it really is true that we have become a golf cart automobile property. By way of example, I've lived here 20 years. I'm not allowed to rent a golf cart. I don't want to own one. There's times I want to rent them, but a renter can rent a home with a golf cart and give that golf cart to a 16-year-old young person, but I can't rent a golf cart. If you want to help the golf cart situation, you can make it a little bit more harder for someone that's 16 to 21 to drive one. There's no crosswalks. There's no stop for pedestrians in this intersection. It's not the driver's fault a lot of times. If I stop at the stop sign and I'm driving a car, I am blocking the crosswalk. This is a entrance and exit to a community here that doesn't have a crosswalk. And there's no signs. So the pedestrians don't know if they're supposed to stop. I'm convinced that this may be one of the most dangerous construction sites in the state of Florida. They have no regard for the property. They have no regard for pedestrians. Gates are left open. Trucks block the walkway. I've talked to South Walton County. I've gotten no help there. I've talked to SOA. Their solution was to block me on their Twitter. And so I just think this is disgraceful. I mean, I cannot believe that we have allowed them to do this to our property. Here's another place on the property where stop sign, you block the path if you stopped at the stop sign. Stop sign has to be moved back. There has to be a added sign, keep the crosswalk clear. And, people just, you have to be careful. We have to become more of a pedestrian culture. And we used to be. That one yield sign to pedestrians that was in the staff parking lot, they used to be all over. And then the realtors took over the property, and it was more about how many times we can rent, how many repeat customers we can have, how many youngsters can drive golf carts so they're happy when they come here, and they encourage their parents, let's go back to Sandestin, it's a lot of fun, and those type of things. Sometimes there's stop signs for pedestrians, sometimes there's not. A stop sign for the pedestrian is, I think, a ridiculous idea anyway, but it's certainly not consistent here. What was this woman supposed to do? If she didn't block the crosswalk, she couldn't see. The stop sign is after the crosswalk. Again, it should be a stop sign, should be before the crosswalk, and there should be another sign saying keep the crosswalk clear. A lot of times you get the excuse, well, the infrastructure wasn't built for this many people. And now here's a new path being built, and it's still dangerous. There's no signs for the pedestrian. This is a golf cart parking lot that you're looking at, coming out of a golf cart parking lot. And again, here's the reason we're no longer a pedestrian property, because we want to rent, we want repeat customers, and pedestrian safety have nothing to do with it. Okay, this sign says one way. This road is not a one-way road. Now, what they intended you to do is to turn right only, and that's what the sign should say. This is another example. If the driver stops at the stop sign, he or she can't see, so they cross the walkway so they can see. And I think these things are really more dangerous for bikers than they are for pedestrians or joggers because of the speed at which the bikers are going. And obviously, these people here, they think the stop sign is a suggestion, not necessarily a law. And so, again, I'm trying to show you with my camera that if I stop at the stop sign, I really can't see. Now, this is a first-class construction site. This company knows what they're doing. This company respects the property and respects the pedestrians. And every time I go past this place, if a truck's coming in and out, they have people blocking traffic. They have people watching the pedestrians. They do it right. Here's an example of no sign is better than a bad sign. That woman doesn't have a sign, but she thought it was best for her to stop and wave on the truck, and I thought that was a good idea. Stop sign for pedestrian on one side, not the other. Why not a yield sign here? I mean, look how the driver has all kinds of vision. A driver can see if someone's going to approach that path, and yet when I go here, it's just, the pedestrian dares the driver, who's going to go first, and this and that. Why we don't make it culturally better for pedestrians on this property? Share the road. We can do better. I think most of it is signage and culture.